Hello, let's discuss how to become a content creator. If you're new here, I have over 30,000 followers across all socials together. That by no means means I'm a professional. However, I do know what a content creator will know. And I also follow a bunch of accounts that are like, literally every post is like, do these 3 things to become a content creator with over 100k, and then it's literally the most basic ass shit, and there's no guarantee that that will get you anywhere, but people eat it the fuck up. I don't understand. So I'm actually going to give you some advice because I'm actually done with people trying to like feed people shit. Okay, so the main thing that like the first thing that like these accounts say is like, find your niche, and this is the one thing that I agree with. However, this is just to become a creator. This isn't guaranteeing you to become a good creator or a successful creator or get some kind of like following. It's just how to begin the process. So I'm not gonna sit here and say this is how you be a creator with loads of billions of followers. It's just, this is how you start. Finding your niche is very important, because take it from someone who has 1 million niches and has had her account for 10 years. That makes me feel so old. For 10 years, and I've gone through so many niches. Finding one specific niche that also is like a well-known-ish niche, like it has a community behind it, is important. I recently kind of changed up my niche in the sense of I've been adding bookstagram shit to my stuff. You know, I've been like redoing my kind of photos and like the content I make, and it's been working. Why? Because there's a community behind it, and 2, because I've refined it. So find your niche. This can be anything from books to movies to your career. Like literally, if you're a model or something, you can post. You don't even have to be anything like that. If you're a fucking tutor, you can talk about being a tutor. There are loads of like study, college, student accounts. You know, it can literally be anything. Just do your research and find your niche. 2, find other accounts that you look up to and like, that, you know, in your dreams, like ideally that is where you want to get to, and also what you want your account to look like in terms of aesthetic and feed. Don't copy their shit, but do take inspiration, and on top of that, interact with them. The more you become like a well-known name or face with people individually, not overall but individually, then the more likely you are to create actual connections. And that's what it's really about. It's not about the followers, it's about actual connections and like relationships you form with people. There are people who have followed me for 10 years. I don't follow them, but I know them by name, by face. They are consistent with me and I'm consistent with them. So that's what gets you, I would say, like to your first 1k. That's a great way to do it, because the more interactive you are with people, conversations you have, etc., the better. I'm not saying that if you interact with these big accounts that they'll follow you and become your best friend, but I am saying it is one way to grow your following and also just weasel your way into your niche. 3, make a mood board for your dream feed on Pinterest. I haven't done this until recently because I've been so frustrated with my content creation. It's a bit stupid, but I do highly recommend it, because I think after doing that I was a little bit more like focused on what kind of content I want to create and what I want it to actually look like, rather than what I used to do, which is just, oh, that's a nice picture, I'll post that. Unfortunately, this is now my full-time job, kinda, so I've got to put more effort and thought into it and actually plan shit out. Like, let's do this on this day and let's take a picture that looks like, you know, it has to be planned out because it's my full-time job. But I highly recommend doing that from the beginning, even though it's not going to be a full-time job when you have 0 followers or 100 or whatever. But if you do that from the beginning, it means that by the time that it may become a full-time job, if that's what you want, you are already in the process of doing it. So it's not going to be like a culture shock when you have to go into planning content, etc. I mean, I've always planned content in the sense of I've had a schedule and what days to post, hashtags, time, you know, my metrics. I've always known that, but I mean in terms of what my feed actually looks like and the kind of pictures I want on there. I've had to plan that a lot more than usual instead of just posting pictures that I think look nice. For start, I know this is so dumb, but it's true, just start. I think like with me, I've obviously been posting for 10 years, so it doesn't really count. But if you're like, oh, I don't know if I should do this, whatever, just do it. Just start, because like at the end of the day, what's the worst thing that could happen? You end up not liking it. Okay, you didn't waste any time really. So cool, you found out something. That's the best bit, and you practice and learn. You know, it's just like anything else really. So don't be put off by the idea of starting. You know, like there's nothing that can harm you in that process of starting. And I think also with me, like that goes for when I've started this new content and refined content. I've been like, oh, but like I don't know when to like post this because people are gonna have to get used to it. And the truth is like just do it. Just post it whenever you want to, because if you don't do it now and you do it later, say you've got more followers later, they're gonna have to get used to that new content even more. So the sooner you start, the better. And that's what I did, and it's turned out good. So take my advice. 5th, it's okay for you to grow and change. I've already discussed that I've grown and changed a lot in the past 10 years. You would fucking hope so, from 11 to 21. But I have changed my niche and content so much. And I think like recently my niche is kind of, like in the past few years, it's relatively stayed the same in terms of I'm the face of my niche, you know, and aesthetics are like my niche and whatever. But because I was like, no, I need to like hone in on one thing, it helped me understand that I'm still gonna grow and learn and change from this point forward. Like that doesn't stop just because I've found something that, you know, I'm good at. I'm still going to implement new things, and also the times are going to change. You know, the internet is a very fast-paced place, and it's constantly changing. Niches are constantly changing. So it's kind of just about accept that you're going to learn and grow and change, but also accept that the internet is going to learn and grow and change probably a lot faster than you are. So yes, you do have to keep up with it, but you don't have to change for it. I'm just saying, like, if your niche, like if there are new things in your niche that change, try to go with that flow. You know, don't fight against it, just try to go with it basically. So then lastly, don't be afraid, reach out. This goes for several things. One, like I said, reaching out to other people, making connections. You know, someone this morning asked me to do follow for follow. I haven't done follow for follow since I was like 12, and I deleted their message. But there is no harm in asking, and I don't have any like bad feelings towards that person. It's just I'm not going to answer you because I have 12,000 followers and you have 1,000. I don't know you. We aren't friends. We have no mutuals. Your content is nothing like my content. You know, it's just people are trying to get followers, and I get it. And there was a time when I was 12 that I was doing that, but I'm grown now. I'm a grown adult, okay? And I'm not doing that follow for follow shit, okay? However, reaching out still has its benefits. You know, when I see that person's username because they follow me, I'm going to be like, oh, that person reached out to me. Like, I'm going to remember that they did that, right? And I will say, sending that shit to people who have 10 times your followers, if not more, you're most likely not going to get a response. So try to reach out to people who are starting out just like you, and people who are just a bit bigger than you, or people who are literally at ground zero and you're at like ground one. Like, try and like build that community of people in your level, because the more of that you build, the more out of that level you can grow. And additionally, you know, one day you might grow really big and they're going to be like, oh, I followed you from the beginning, right? Or your mutuals will grow really, really big and they'll still follow you, and people will see that because you're mutuals and you've been friends for a while and you've followed each other for a while, but they're really big now, and people will see that you have that connection and relationship. So don't do it for the followers. Like, sending me that, like, follow for follow, I'm like, no, I'm too grown for this, please. And it's just not a good way to grow when you're sending it to people who are already 10 times larger than you, because I'm at a different place to you, and I'm not saying that in a, oh, you're smaller than me. I'm just saying, like, I am a different place. I don't need to do that anymore. But people who are in the same following as you will love to do that, because I remember when I was starting out, I loved to do that. It is how I started out. So it's just about contacting the right people. And then there's the other side, the flip side of this, which is like, reach out to brands. I know people love the idea of brand partnerships, and they're like, there's no way I'd get any at just 1,000 followers, whatever. But the truth is yes, followers matter to an extent, but engagement also matters. So I think the average is like 1 to 2% engagement rate, and if it's below that, people don't really want to partner with you. If it's above that, amazing. Mine is on the average, and that's great. And if you're at 1k and you have that percentage or a higher percentage, you should still reach out to brands, because if you mention that, if you go, here's my follow count, but here's my engagement rate is really high, higher than average or average, then, you know, one, you're saying that you know what you're talking about. Two, you're proving that, you know, you have some worthiness in terms of a brand partnership. Reach out to people, anyone that you want to work with. It doesn't matter how big or small they are. Just keep in contact. It's better to start reaching out now than when you have 100k, because at that point, you know, people are like, well, you haven't worked with anyone. Why is this person not worked with anyone? Confusing. Maybe that's a sign that we shouldn't work with them, etc. And I'm not saying that if you had 100k, people wouldn't reach out to you to work with you, because they would. But I will say, like, 75% of my brand partnerships has been me reaching out to people. And I know people are going to want to know about, you know, payment and like how much they should be charging, and there's so much more information in this topic that I know people want to know and talk about, and I get it, but it's just so much to like include in one video. So I will direct you to one place, Lemon8. It's a newish app. It's created by the people who created TikTok, but it's basically TikTok / Pinterest. I love it. I'm actually addicted to it. I'm obsessed, and I've garnered tiny following. I think I have like 100 followers, which sounds like nothing, but on there it's brand new. So, you know, if someone has 1,000 followers on there, it's insane, which is like, it takes off that like pressure, so it's a good thing. But I'm directing you there because, if I can get it up, I post a lot of content creator advice. So from PR I get every week, and how I get that, whether it's they reached out, I reached out, or I use certain third-party apps, which a lot exist, and I didn't even know that until like this year, which is crazy. I do a lot of, you know, let's drop instas, let's like have a look at each other's stuff, see if we like it, group chats, etc. There's a lot, and I'm not the only person doing this. There are loads of people that are doing this, and I follow a lot of them or have interacted with them a lot, because I still need to interact with people at this stage. It's only 12k that I have on Instagram, so it's like, yeah, I still need to absolutely participate in this, you know. And so I do highly recommend going to my Lemon8, because I know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I will make more content like this, because I know there is an audience that wants it. And, you know, it's not what I want to be about. I don't mind doing it every now and then, because it is like the biggest part of my life. So I can't avoid it anyway. But if you want more information, if you want to know the shit like how much you should be charging with a brand. You know, there's a lot of factors that come into that, and it's a larger discussion than what we've had to hear today. But if that is stuff that you want to know, then just let me know and I will make some more videos on it. But until then, I love you very much. Have a great rest of your weekend. See ya.